Thank you for tuning in to 7 Mobile Minutes, brought to you by 7 Media Group. Now, here are your hosts, Ron Carricker and Dave Morris.
Welcome to another edition of 7 Mobile Minutes. I'm Dave Morris alongside Ron Carricker, who is the president and CEO of 7 Media Group. Ron, good to see you.
Thanks. Nice to be back home after the holidays.
We prefaced this a couple weeks ago as we were heading into the Thanksgiving holidays. Now it's full on into the Christmas holidays and New Year's. You were on the travel beat. We kind of prefaced how you attempted to, or how you were preparing for your travel with the various apps, including WhatsApp. So we'll dive into what apps you used, but I'll let you set this up with, before you got started, an app called Kayak.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that travel know what Kayak
or
is.
Websites.
It's kind of like a Priceline. Well, actually, they even suck in like Priceline, Expedia, and some of those other ones. They pull them in for their feeds and things. So it's airlines, hotels, rental cars. I use it a lot. They got cool alerts and different things. But one of the cool things about it that's kind of buried a little bit is it has this really cool little AR component that lets you hold your phone over your luggage, and it does like this three-dimensional diagram of it, and it tells you if it'll fit in the overhead. You know, so when you go to the airport now, you got that little metal rack that they go, okay, nobody's freaking luggage fits in that thing. So you're like
that's
waiting
right.
And so this little AR, I'm like, that's the smart thing for a technology that most normal people don't understand. They're not like, they think AR is like it's 3D and you're going to be immersed in. I mean, it's a perfect use of a technology that's built into your phone, but it's practical.
And right about that. That's a good utility. So if you're like me back on aisle 15, you see this person coming in with large luggage and they're attempting to cram it in there and you're like, there is zero chance that is going in there.
Yeah, that's
also on the other side of that, if you have some luggage, you're like, man, I probably shouldn't have put that bulky sweater in there. I hope this fits. That could solve that problem before you even get on the plane.
And it's surprisingly accurate the way it's positioned. I mean, it doesn't like give you weight or anything, but it gives you dimensions. And that, again, that's what you're looking for when you buy luggage or you use a piece of luggage to travel. You say, okay, am I going to carry on or am I going to check? So that was just cool. And that's something, like I said, that I use Kayak almost exclusively when I'm looking for travel, and then I wind up maybe on different websites to book it or hotels or whatever. But just having those little extra pieces inside of an app make that app more useful to me versus an Expedia or something like that. So it was helpful.
One of the things we discuss here on 7 Mobile Minutes, I should say, is the various use of mobile technology throughout all walks of life. So there's various apps that could, to Ron's point about the luggage, measure your room if you're trying to paint or put furniture in the room or something like that. But once you're on the trip, a very useful website app is called TripIt, and I believe you used it on your trip as well.
Yeah, so I was trying it out. I'd had it before and didn't really use it that much, but it was helpful. So we traveled to Italy. I took the family there for the Thanksgiving holiday break.
Cannoli for Thanksgiving.
I got something fun to mention about that. I don't know that I shared it with a lot of people, but I'll tell you here in a minute. But so TripIt was really good. We had 3 different people with air travel and booking, and then the hotels. So we stayed in multiple cities, and then the tours we booked. We did a cooking class one day in Florence, and we did a tour of the Colosseum and the Vatican. So what's cool is TripIt is that everything goes into your email. You sync your email up with it. Anything that's travel related, it identifies it and it pulls it into the app, and it just creates your itinerary on the fly.
So you got a reminder, hey Ron, you've got a cooking class coming up, or you've got a tour that you booked, these tickets. Yeah. It's all combined.
And there's some pieces to it that, like you mentioned before when we were talking offline, that there's some pro features which I don't know what I'm missing yet, but it made me feel like, okay, this is something that's intuitive, it's helpful. I'm not a professional application developer, or I don't need an app all the time, but I travel often enough that it's nice to have something in one place, to have it all pulled together, and you don't really have to do a lot. It just kind of does it for you. So that was a helpful tool to have, during the trip, before and during and everything.
You had mentioned once you got to Italy, you texted me, hey Dave, check out this parking situation and the cameras and the app that was used there. What was that called again?
So I can't remember the name of the app. I'll have to look it up. We can share it, after you edit the video and stuff. But I'll look it up. The thing with it is, so it told me a couple things. One is the technology and the cost of technology has come way down. So what happened is we're driving on the highway, on the toll roads in Italy, and there's, convenience store stops, truck stops, so to speak, at each one of these, places between the cities we're in.
Which I don't know if people don't know this or not. If you ever travel internationally with Germany, with Ron, let's say in Germany, There may be lunch at a truck stop in your future.
Oh, here's the great thing about Italy was these truck stops. You stop in, get a shot of espresso in a nice porcelain cup and like a legit espresso bar. It's bigger than half the cash register area, and the candy and the sodas. You go in and get a cappuccino, you get an espresso, and it's top line, So
and
that's
good stuff. You're right.
It was really good, yeah. So what was interesting though was that they have these specific kind of parking areas. They have the truck parking, then they have vehicle parking, and they would have parking spaces that in front of you would be signage. And I sent you that picture. You can share it. That there's a specific app to use, and then there's a parking spot that you're at with a camera. So you use that app to watch your car while you're inside getting your espresso. And I thought, first of all, that's, again, simple use of technology that people understand and are familiar with. I can download an app. I know where I'm parked at. It's useful. I'm in a country I'm not familiar with, or even if I live in Italy, it's just something that I feel more secure about to park my car at night, go inside. Because a lot of those places.
To be clear, were you in a sketchy area? I would assume it's not that sketchy if they have that level of technology.
No, but you think of in terms of truck stops in America. You know what I mean? You're traveling to down I-35, and you stop at a Love's, or you stop at a Flying J, or you stop at. It's not sketchy so much. It's just a lot of people coming and going. Somebody can just find. Yeah, so it's peace of mind, right? If you forgot to lock your door or something, other people may want to check on it for you, and see if it's locked. But it wasn't. We weren't fearful of people milling around or anything like that. It was more about security of your car. I mean, you're in a heavily traveled area, and it just was a peace of mind But like I said, I think that, again, the simplicity of it was genius. Like, there's so many parking places here. You just think about downtown Oklahoma City, or when you travel anywhere and you rent a car, you don't want anything to happen to it.
That's right.
How easy is it to just have a little camera feed like that you can watch for 5 minutes or 10 minutes while you're getting coffee or you're getting a snack or whatever? And that just, to me, gives you that different connection with the business. They're telling me, we care about your safety, we care about your personal property, we want you to come in and feel safe and shop or enjoy food, or so those are the little things that companies just need to understand. It's not the latest, greatest, coolest technology. It's the simple stuff that it speaks to a consumer, or a traveler in my case. So it was great. It was really good. It was useful.
And pairs well with an espresso.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was wired up after a few espresso shots. It was good stuff.
So you had your couple of espresso shots. You're ready to go. You hit the road. And I'm assuming you're firing up another app once you're in the car, Waze.
Yeah, so I use Waze constantly. I mean, it's crazy how much I use it. I love it. And Waze is, if people don't know about Waze or use Waze, it was developed in Israel, and it was a company they built their technology on top of Google. So it was all Google Maps that they built using APIs. But eventually Google bought that company. They bought Waze. Waze still exists and has its little features and its extra little bells and whistles, but a lot of the cool features of Waze have been integrated into Google. So there's some cool features that Google now has if you use Google Maps. But anyway, I've used Waze for several years, and in Europe, and you've traveled with me in driving, I don't know what the speed limit is because I don't know what kilometers is. And every car we've rented, it's kilometers only. It's not like in America where you get both. You get kilometers. And so I don't know what 110 kilometers is. It's fast, but I don't have any idea in a relation of what that means in America. So anyway, I use the Waze app. I put it on my dashboard with a little clip, that goes in the vent. And I see miles per hour. So I can kind of get a better idea about, okay, I'm going 85, which is such and such kilometers. So anyway, and the streets and the signs on the highway, like you and I have seen, I have no idea what they mean. Do they mean that's a suggested speed, or that's the maximum speed, or that the minimum speed? Because I've had my doors blown off multiple times when I thought I was flying. So Waze is so useful. And like we've talked about, if you traveled 20 years ago in Europe, I mean, people are scared to death to rent a car because what are you doing? You're pulling out the Rand McNally, the Rando Michelangelo in
Yes.
Italy or whatever the hell they call it, a paper map. There's no way I could follow a paper map.
I don't know how you would navigate a U.S. city with a paper map these days, let alone going to Europe.
Shout out to Timmy Albert out there of the world that still uses the Rand McNally, which I have no idea where he can buy one. It's probably from, circa 1997, but they make them. but I couldn't use it driving, right? And I definitely don't have a co-pilot usually that's going to help me with a paper map. So anyway, Waze is so incredibly useful, and it's all digital and it's all up to date in real time. The other cool aspect about Waze that helped me out was before I went, I read about these zones within each of the cities within Italy. And it's not this way in other countries in Europe that I've found so far. So they have these LTZs. They're like limited transit zone or something. They're of an invisible line that encircles that goes around the city's center that limits your access, or at least if you want to go into the city deeper, you have to have a permit. So taxis have it, things like that, or if you work there, you'd have a permit. Rental cars don't have permits for stuff like that. So what happens is you cross that invisible line, they have cameras, they have detections, they'll give you a ticket. So I was avoiding that at all costs, but when I got to Italy, I'm thinking, how am I going to know, where these zones, I don't know what the signs say, I don't know what to look for. Waze had it built in. When I got near one of those zones, it would perimeter the city and show me where at on the map I was in relation to that LTZ, and I would avoid it. So again, saved me some money, but it's incredibly helpful that it just was built in. It knew I'm in Italy. You have these zones. You don't want to go there. So you kind of like the feature in Waze where it says, do you want to travel this route and avoid turnpikes? And you can say yes, and it'll give you back roads or whatever. So again, technology, simplicity, something I use every day, but had an extra little feature in it that I was like, great. Who knew?
We'll wrap this up. One of the things that Richard Branson, the visionary and the owner behind Virgin, said a long time ago, if you want to develop a business, figure out two things. What do you like? And what do you not like? So at some point, someone decided, I don't know how to travel in Europe perhaps without a paper map. I need to figure that out, or something like that. Hey, how do I avoid? Somebody somewhere said, you know what? We could put this in an app.
Well, and again, like I've said so many times, and I mean, my whole company's built on this premise, is that simple is a lot of times better. Technology is fantastic, but if nobody knows how to use it or implement it or understand it, then it's useless. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just not something that, and it doesn't have to be, change your life kind of development or technology. It's just got to be something that you go, yeah, I didn't know I needed that, or I need this. What can I find that will help me with this? And then everything. I
do want to watch the rental car as I sip on this espresso. Who knew?
Exactly right. And to put it nicely, Italy was pretty freaking awesome, and the technology helped me out at every turn. So it was wonderful.
Fantastic. All right, that'll do it for this edition of 7 Mobile Minutes. You can learn more about 7 Media Group by going online to that URL you see right there, 7mediagroup.com. Ron, as always, thanks for your time. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Dave.